Hey guys, Figurecraft here, and today we're going to be going over my collection of the Dark Souls the board game. But before that, I'm going to show y'all some stuff. Basically, here's the the phone stand that I always use. That basically, broke. You can see right there, and then on the inside, there's the screw. I've already tried twisting this back off, but it just doesn't work. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the phone. Luckily, it still holds the phone for me to get that. And another thing I'm going to show you is about this phone right here. This is my new phone that I used to record with. I could, show my face and swap back and forth between cameras. But, like I've said, right here, it's here right now, where I can swap back and forth. It's right there right now. But the moment when I choose a camera and then I hit record, you can see it disappears. I've tried double clicking. This stupid lock thing comes up. I thought maybe that's just taking pictures. And then if I was to stop it, then this comes back. So let's say if I wanted to record myself, basically I'd click that, and same thing. I can't swap back and forth. Just swapping side to side dims it. Swapping up and down does the same thing. I mean, quite literally, when the phone had the update, they removed that function. And I hate when phone companies do that. They have a tendency to basically remove some stuff from your phone to force you to buy the new phone. That way you won't have a reason to use this one anymore. And I just got this phone not too long ago, and it's already time for a new one. Oh. But anyway, onward to the video. Right here is my Dark Souls the board game. I got it a long time ago, and when I received it, it was new, but the people didn't handle it good in the mail, and I had to use some black duct tape to tape the box together at the areas where it was ripping. Because like I said, people didn't handle it good in the mail. You can see there. We'll show the sides of it. There's it's the bottom of it. Here's this side of it. Here's the top of it. Here's the other side of it. And then you already saw the front of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up. Alright. And unfortunately, here's the bottom of it. Here's the side of it. Fortunately, it's the same thing. These were coming loose from where it was bashed around in the mail. And here's the top of it. Here is the other side of it. And then back to the bottom. And then, of course, on the very top, you get a big piece of paper that says the iconic thing from the game when you die. And then opening it up, here is the rule book. So I'll set this over to the side. Here is our rule book. Shows you all the miniatures that you get in this set. Talks about all of your abilities. Let me see if I can lock the camera off a bit. Seems like it's fogged up or something. There we go. Sorry about that. And right there we go. Let me just go ahead and set this stand down here, and I'll pick the phone up off the stand. It's easier to hold that way. Resting at the bonfire. Here's a picture. The rules of the campaign and all that. And there's the first journey. There's that. And then right here is basically made some copies of what is here in the book. That way I wouldn't have to write in the book. Just made some copies for when me and my friends go to play. And I just keep them in the book. We've got that. Let me go ahead and sit you down here right fast because I forgot to grab the cards. So let me go and grab those cards. Alright. Get you off that thing. Had to go grab the cards. Alright, here are our health dials. And there's the bonfire dial. So let's see if I can open up this. Let me sit you back down here. Gotta have two hands to open this. So here is the Ornstein health dial. And how much health he has. You'll know that's the max health because it'll have the heart right at the max health, because if you go past it, it ain't got nothing. So he's got 20 health. And then you just flip this dial until you know it goes to 0 and then he ain't got no health. And then we'll continue to go right back to 20. Okay, so we got him. This is the Wing Knight. So the same thing. The Wing Knight has 24 health, and then you just, you know, same gist, you flip the health dial. All the way until it hits 0. But we'll put him back at his health. So he has 24 health. Get right on the 24. There we go. That's the Wing Knight. Here is our Titanite Demon. So we're going to look for his health. Let's see here. Okay, so Titanite Demon has 22 health. So the Titanite Demon will start off at 22 health. And then we've got... Here's Smo. For Ornstein and Smo. And 30 health. So Smo has 30 health. Then we have the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. So Dancer of the Boreal Valley has 34 health. Then we've got the Boreal Outrider Knight, which the Boreal Outrider Knight has 26 health. You got one more in here. We have the Gargoyle. The gargoyles that was on top of the bell tower in the first game. And right there, they have 26 health. Unfortunately, in the board game, they only give you one gargoyle. Would have been nice if they gave you two. But yeah, he's got 26 health. And then you've got your bonfire tile, which when I was doing, you know, I had 4 players with me, so you basically set it for 2 for 4 players. Because the more players you have, the less times you have of sitting at the bonfire. I think it, or not the less times, but yeah, that's it. The less times you have to come back. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. I think if it was 1 player, you have like 5 turns of sitting at the bonfire. But the more players you have, the less times you have of, you know, coming back or being put back at the bonfire. 4 was... 3, I think 3 players was 4. And then you got a 3, so... Or then again, 3 players might have been 3. I don't know. I know 2 is definitely for 4 players. So if you had 4 players, you only have 2 times of coming back at the bonfire. Basically, you have 2 times of dying in the game. And then you can't go back to the bonfire no more, and then you're game over. But that's the bonfire tile. So we'll go ahead and we'll put their little dials back into this bag where I keep them. It's been a while since I've played the board game, so I've got to learn the rules again. So I've been watching some YouTube videos and learning the rules again, because it's been forever since we've played. Even then, sometimes we still don't understand the rules, and we basically sometimes, you know, make up our own rules, but we try really hard to play by the game's rules, but sometimes they're just confusing. Most of the times we just play for fun. As you know, that's the way a game is supposed to be enjoyed, is play for fun. Sorry about the squeaky chair, y'all. Next up, we have the arena tiles. In other words, the tiles that you would get for the arenas. So here's one side. And then you flip it over, you have another side. Same thing with this one. And you flip it over, you have another side. And here's another arena. You flip it over, you have another side. These are basically your board arenas. See there, you flip it, then you flip it again. And they're pretty thick too. You see how thick that is? That's really thick cardboard. And then right here's another arena. You can see the little nodes of where things go. Your little movement spaces. Here's another one. And you've got this looks like for the ball, for either the mini boss room or the big time boss room. I can't remember what these symbols are about. One of them is boss, one of them is mini boss. And there's a different symbol. This one might be for the main boss. Or then again, they looked about the same. I don't know, I'll have to figure it out when it comes to the rules again. Oh, never mind, I think I just figured it out. Okay, so this is for either mini boss or the boss, and then Right here is the main different symbol. So that one might be for... Okay, if it's got the crown, I'm thinking the crown is for the main boss. So the crown might be for the main boss. The skull might be for the mini boss. I can't remember. Like I said, it's been forever since I've played. Here's your where you sit at your here's where you cash in for your souls, where you keep your souls at. Here's Blacksmith Andre treasure, where you draw from your treasure card. Here's your bonfire. There's the fire keeper. And then on the other side, it's about the same thing, just a different setting. Here's Andre. They got Andre on here. So it's just according to whatever you want for your picture. But those are your tiles. You can see they're pretty thick with them all together. And then you've got your people. So we'll go with the first one. Basically on the back you got these. This is where, you know, you punched them out. We have the assassin. Here is the assassin. And then we've got the warrior. Here is your warrior card for whoever plays the warrior. Here is another one. And then this is the herald. So whoever plays the herald, this is their card. And it tells you about the abilities of the herald. So yeah, their abilities are at the top left. So yeah, that one says backstab. That's for the assassin. This one says bear stork charge. That's for the warrior. That one says perseverance, I think it is. That's for the herald. And then the last one is for the stand fast, and that is for the knight. So these are your 4 characters that you get with the main board game. And their cards are thick, just like the board game. Sceneries. Here is all your... These are your treasure boxes that you will basically sit on the board. So, opening it up. It's been a while since I looked at these. So you see you got a treasure. You basically sit them down like that, and then when you choose to open them, you would flip it. And you can see this one's an empty chest. Same thing with this one. You have a treasure chest, you flip it. When you choose to open it, empty chest. This one right here, you have an empty treasure chest, you choose to flip it. Empty chest. And right there, empty chest. But those are your treasure cards. Which I think they've updated them to have stuff in them on the others. I just don't, I don't know if I have the others or not. I'll have to look. There's still a whole lot of expansions that I'm missing that I still got to collect. Right here are your tombstones and barrels. So, you have a barrel right here. You choose to spend 1 stamina to break the barrel. You can see it looks like we got an empty barrel. And that one looks like another empty barrel. Here's a tombstone. Which, I don't think the tombstones can be broken. Nope, no broken tombstone. More like broken barrels. hook and barrel. Yeah, it must be the new ones that I'm thinking of, because I remember they updated these to where they got like things like souls and stuff like that in them if you broke them. But this is the original board game that doesn't have all that updated detail. So I'll have to look at that again. But yeah, all these are just broken barrels with nothing in them. I'll have to see how these go on the original game again. Like I said, I forgot all the rules. It's been so long. It's been about maybe 6 years, I think it was, since we played. And within those 6 years, I've already forgotten most of the rules. So, yeah, go figure. That's what happens, though, when you don't do stuff for so long. You end up forgetting. Okay, here are your traps. So, you would basically just spring a trap. Okay, you don't get hit by that one. That's a blank trap. What about this one? Spring a trap. Ooh. Looks like it's going to get you for physical damage, and I do remember that. You have one attempt to dodge it. Because that right there means to dodge. So, yeah, that one had a trap. Okay, so the trap's got stuff. Here's another trap. Spring the trap. Ooh. Getting hit with 1 physical damage, and you have 2 dodge attempts. Another trap. Spring the trap. Ooh, got lucky. That's another blank trap. So, spring the trap. Ouch. 3 physical damage. 1 attempt to dodge. Spring the trap. Ooh. Spring this trap. Another one attack, physical, 2 attempts to dodge. Spring. Ooh. And we'll spring this one. Ouch. 2 physical damage, 1 attempt to dodge. So, yeah, that's all of these traps. They basically set them on the board like this. And then when you basically go to move on a trap node, you basically spring it the moment you hit it. And you basically got to hope it's a blank or you can dodge it. Because some of these traps can be pretty brutal. That one didn't have nothing. That one's got something. Oh, yeah. Not so bad if they deal the, 1 physical damage. That ain't so bad. But when it comes to 2 physical damage or 3 physical damage, that'll hurt you. Blank. We got a lot of blank ones here. Another blank one. Another blank one. And another blank one. So we got about that many blank ones. And we have this many traps. So there's more blank ones than there are traps. But, you just basically shuffle them on the board. Set them in random areas, and you don't know what you're sitting down on the board until it gets sprung. I keep all my stuff in a little Ziploc bag. But I did find on a Coach 3D website that they have a 3D printing thing. That way you can sit down inside your box to keep your stuff more organized. So I made 3D print that when I get some more filament. So I can do that. What's that? Hey, that's my missing rubber band that I was missing to one of my cards. Okay, I found the rubber band. These are your soles. 1 sole. Another 1 sole. Another 1 sole. Here's a 3 sole. You get 1 sole, 3 sole, 5 sole. Bunch of 1 soles. Bunch more 1 soles. There's another 3 sole. 1 sole. 1 sole. Here's some 5 soles. Basically, these soles add up. There's 8 soles. 3 sole. 2 more little 1-sos. 1 more 3-so. 1 more 3-so. So you only get 1 8-so with the main board game. Then you get like so many, I think it's like 4 or 5 3-sos. And 3 5-sos. Then you get a whole lot of 1-sos. So these are your souls and what you gather up when you kill the enemies. And I think on the card it tells you how many souls the enemies give. Well, look at those in a few. Yeah, those are our souls. So we got our souls. Here we have our things that we use for our characters. Our Estus Flask. Our lucky tokens. Our heroic action. There's the heroic action. And you get about... There's the aggro token. Whoever has that is who the enemy's going to attack first. I do remember that much. Here's an Estus Flask that's been used. Oh no, that's not an Estus Flask, my bad. This is the, oh, it's been a while since I've played the game too. What is that? Is that a humanity? No, that's not a humanity. What is that? I can't remember what that is. Something to do with charcoal, I think. I think I might be a charcoal. I can't remember. There's another one. Yeah, it looks almost like a charcoal. We got a bunch of those. Here is a bigger... That's a pendant. That's a pendant. That looks like a pendant that you use in the abyss. Almost it. Here is your shield or something like that. Or that might be the lucky token. I think that's what that is, the lucky token. Or maybe that's the lucky token. Okay, that's probably the lucky token. That's probably the heroic action. I can't remember. I'm so behind. Here's our Estus. There's if when you use your Estus. And there's when you have your Estus. So you get 4 Estus Flask. You get 4 of these, that might be the heroic action. I can't remember, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me see here. Shield. You should get 4 of those. You should get 4 of these. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Because each character gets 4 Estus Flask. Each character gets 4 hero tokens. And each character gets 4 heroic actions. But I can't remember what's what. And this right here is, maybe that's the lucky token. I don't know. It's been a while. And then that's charcoal. I'm pretty sure that's charcoal. I just can't remember what it's used for. Unless it's used for upgrading. And then here's your Foggate token. But I did find a 3D printed Foggate that I'm going to 3D print for my board game. It's only like $1 to get it. So I'm going to basically purchase it and 3D print me a Foggate. And once I 3D print that, I'll show that to y'all. But we're going to go ahead and put all of these back in here. These are for our characters. We know that. This is our character stuff. What you give to your players for your characters. Here is, I remember what these are. These are your damage tokens. How much damage you deal to the enemy. So if we done 1 damage, we would put 1 damage on there for every part of the damage that we do to the enemy. We throw these onto the enemy to let us know that the enemy's been damaged that much, and then you constantly move the enemy's health dial down. But yeah, that's your damage tokens. And then right here we have our poison, bleed, frostbite, and I don't know if there, yeah, there is stagger. That's if you're staggered. Here's your poison. If you dealt poison, or if you've been poisoned. Here's bleed damage. if you caused bleed or they caused bleed on you. Frostbite. But you get the gist. You got so many staggers, so many frostbites, so many poison, so many bleed, like that. That's all the main stuff for the board game, for, you know, character-wise and stuff. And then let me go through the cards here. Here's the cards. Some of these are for the board game. Some of these are not for the board game. Some of these are for some of the expansions I've got. So I've got to go through here and figure out what's for the board game, what ain't for the board game. That lovely stuff. Because we'll be going over the expansions at a later date. So we have here the Gargoyle. That's for the board game. Titanite Demon, board game. This is for... That is a expansion. Dragon Slayer, that would be Ornstein. Wing Knight, board game. Dancer of the Boreal Valley, board game. Boreal Outrider Knight, board game. Sentinel, board game. And we got a, that is not for the board game. That's not for the board game. That's not for the board game. Nope. Nope. That's an expansion. I think... Maybe... Wait a minute. No, he's for